We usually see the TV for the cue. Hello, folks, friends and neighbors. Welcome all. Good evening, folks. This is our April 30th, 2024 meeting of the Northfield Selectboard. We will call this meeting to order at this time. We are going to start this meeting with a 6 o'clock appointment for the PTO/Recreation Commission. Pavilion request at Northfield Elementary School.
Yay.
Please come forward.
All right.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Whichever.
I'm Laura Fries. I'm here as a PTO member. I applied for community preservation funds to support building a pavilion at Northfield Elementary School, and those have gone through, pending town meeting. But I am here in front of you all because the school sits on town property, so we need approval from the select board to move forward with it. So I can pass this around. This is just a copy of the entire application and a letter of support from Northfield Elementary School and the superintendent, so the district and the school.
And just in case you don't remember, this is a CPC request. It's CPA funded
Yes.
from their committee. They have reviewed it and recommended it.
All right. Well, it's a simple motion.
So what's the specific action that we need to take? Do we have to wait until town meeting? That was
No, I mean, I think they just want to, I think the CPC wants to make sure that they're crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's, that the select board is okay with it being on town property, and the school.
Right. So the school is supportive of this going up, but since the town owns the property, the school district didn't feel they had the ultimate decision-making power to say, go ahead and build it. So the town has to say.
As select board members, we do have jurisdiction over town property. So, I don't have any questions for it. I'll entertain a motion to approve the pavilion request at Northfield Elementary School.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it forward, Laura.
The next.
that took a while. Yeah, I know.
It happened.
Yeah, there you go.
We have a counselor appointment for the summer program. Devin Vandermatt.
Is that a copy?
Yeah, you want to
I'll put it in their office in case anybody asks about it, in the select board office, so they have it.
All right. Thank you all. See you at town meeting.
Thank you. So, Devin, you seek interest as a counselor for the summer program.
Yes.
All right. Yay. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a resident here of Northfield. My family and I moved here in 2021. I believe next month will be 3 years. Yeah.
Cool. And you're, and this is for the summer?
Yes, summer program, yeah.
What has led you to seek this position?
I applied last year when I needed a job. Didn't have the qualifications at the time, and it wasn't until after the 350th where I was one of the volunteers that helped, and I got to be involved with Stacy a lot and helping with setting up, and she recommended that I apply again.
I said, put your application in.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Just,
Bernie?
Yeah.
Microphone.
Oh,
I forgot mine too.
yeah.
Darn it.
There it is.
All right, my question is, are all your counselors first aid and CPR certified, or do they get certified?
The director and assistant director are.
Okay, so there's always somebody there that is.
Yes.
The counselors don't have to be.
No.
Okay, just
Yeah.
general question.
It's a good question.
That's it.
Thank you.
What are you most looking forward to in this position?
A lot of being able to like get out and do something during the weekdays of the summer. It's very difficult finding a good reason to just get out and be active, and being able to do the summer program will be a good reason to spend some time in the sun.
Great. How many hours a week is this?
He had to ask me that. Well, you can do the math, I guess. It's 8:30 in the morning till 4, and it's 5 days a week. So,
Right.
and it's 5 weeks this time
Pretty
instead
close
of
to
4.
full time then. Great. Do we have a grade and step, or does that have to be factored into the motion?
We do, but we don't have his letter in here, do we?
No.
I don't remember. What did we do for the counselors?
Um,
We did talk about this.
Yeah. I don't have that information with me. Sorry.
There is a grade
I
and
can
step
look-
for the counselor position. So
Yeah,
is it grade 4 or 5?
Whatever it was from last year.
Yeah, and normally we have the letter written, and I completely spaced it, but there is a grade and step for
Okay.
the counselor position
Right.
written on, and I can't remember now whether it's a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head.
What's the hourly wage discussed in the interview?
Yeah.
The
gonna
hour.
get
Okay.
I have the job description.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
We discussed the range, but not because I'm still learning the hiring process.
Yeah.
Really, I'm trying to follow by the book. But I know that depending on the person's qualifications, it can be higher or lower. So that's why I gave a range, and I haven't given the exact amount just yet. So
Devin, how did you discover this position?
I think at first, I think I saw it online.
last year.
Yeah.
It was online.
And then again this year, when Stacy mentioned that I should reapply for it.
Okay. What are some of your hobbies and interests?
I like music, listening to it, and also back in school I was in the school music program for most of the time.
Nice.
From 4th grade up until I graduated, I was doing percussion. I also like woodworking and just making things here and there.
Nice. How about some of your long-term goals?
Astronaut.
I don't have any new long-term goals right now. I think
Feels like you're just getting settled in Northfield and kind
Yeah.
of, because you guys were up in New Hampshire somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Devin also works at the brewery over
Yeah.
at 4-Star.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very good employee there.
Yes,
I know.
he is.
I need to make new long-term goals.
Yeah.
I got my
I
license.
told you they're hard questions.
I got my license. That was my only long-term
Yeah.
goal so far. So.
Note to
You
self.
remember when you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
So it's I was confusing it with the assistant director. So it's a grade 3. It starts before July 1, right?
It starts July 1st.
You had to say that.
Yep.
I have to do the math now.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just didn't print out. I hadn't printed out and had on hand the one with the new rate.
Sorry,
So
that's probably
no,
grade
that's
3
fine.
step.
1.
Yeah.
It sounds
So-
about right.
At the FY 25 rate.
Let's see. Yeah,
Right,
that's
which
the
would
COLA
be-
thing.
Should be 1784.
Okay. That's all I needed. Are there any further questions at this time? Okay, then I will entertain a motion for somebody to appoint Devin Vandermaat as a counselor for the summer program at a grade 3, step 1 for the fiscal year 2025 rate.
So moved.
All right, that was motioned by Heath and seconded by B. Further discussion on this motion at this time? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome aboard, Devin.
Thank Thank you, Devin.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Yeah,
You can either hang out with me or you can take off. It's up to you.
That's it.
you can watch town government in action.
I told him he can hang out with me or he can, take off. It's up to him. So if you want to hang out, you can.
And then last on our agenda for Rec Commission is the upcoming events for the recreation.
Yay.
There's these two color. I finally learned how to use Canva.
Congratulations.
There you go. Look at that.
Although I might need them as my cheat sheet back. But so I just wanted to give you guys an update real quick on some of the stuff that the rec was doing. As you see, we have our full staff for our summer program. That is running from July 1st to August 2nd this year. So we have an extra week just because there's an extra week in there. And it's longer hours this year. That was one of the things that people said that they wanted, that were working, that they wanted longer hours so that people who are working have a place to drop the kids off and say, I'll be back after work. 8:30 in the morning till 4. We also have got really great donations from the Northfield Kiwanis and the Great River Challenge. Donated from the proceeds from the Great River Challenge $3,000 to go towards some of the kids' financial, Northfield residents and anyone who's in need to help pay for it. We got an anonymous donation of $1,800. And then the Northfield Golf Course and McCarthy Services both donated $250 each. So we have a fair amount that we can help anybody who needs help. That's again a Northfield resident. So that's our summer program, and you guys saw the flyers for that. We again have Gary Conway. He's going to be our director this year. He's already got a whole list of fun things planned, and Matthew Singh is back, and this time is the assistant director.
Yeah.
And then Megan Adams is again the counselor. So it all worked out really nicely that way. So that's the summer program. Our carnival and fun run. I know the PTO didn't have enough volunteers, so they asked if we would take it over. So, some of us who have kids in 6th grade, their last year in elementary school, we were like, yes, I don't want to see that fail and have the kids be upset. So we went for it, and we've got a lot of stuff planned. That's June 1st with a June 8th rain date, 9 to 1 at the elementary school. It's for the NES students and residents, since it's the rec holding it. We have actually some sponsors and stuff.
Wow.
First Light's paying for the bounce house and the dunk tank. So they sponsored that. That was very kind of them because we don't have a budget line item for this. So, and also the New England Center for the Circus Arts is coming to do 2 performances.
Oh, yeah.
They were kind enough to also, normally they do $750, and they were, I asked if they could do less, and they were willing to do $500. So that was really helpful that they could do that. And can I have my sheets back so I can use it as a cheat sheet? Oops. Thank you. And so we have actually Gary, our director, is going to do the DJ games, and we got some old-timey games that we're going to do, and then hoping to do a tug of war, students versus teachers at the end. Oh, and Blossom Winks, the face painting. She's a professional face painter that lives right in town, and so she's coming to do that for $5 a piece. Northeast Paving is bringing some stuff along with the EMS, fire department, all that. Touch of Trucks, yeah.
Right.
The Dickinson Library doing photo booths. So anyway, this is stuff that we have all over the place, so you should easily find it. So there's that, and then so current offerings, we have a couple really cool stuff happening this spring. Besides our usual t-ball and coach pitch baseball. Our girls softball has 2 teams. There's that many girls. I think there's almost 30 of them. It's the same group that actually worked together in basketball. Officer John, Chief Chief Hall. I just call him John all the time, so I like it. Chief Hall was coaching the basketball, and those girls won second place championship. So they're a real competitive, work together team. It's really great to see them now moving into softball and having a great time and doing really well. So, and we have a couple new stuff happening. We were lucky enough that Dave Thomas from the Great River Challenge offered to do mountain biking club. So that has been a real cool hit. Actually, we just had another practice, and they went to the Montague Plains on Saturday. We have I picked up 2 free mountain bikes. They're actually really nice ones, and I got them serviced over at Bicycle World in Greenfield. So we have 2 spare bikes for anyone who needs them that can't transport their own. And then also the preschool teacher Heather Butinsky and her husband wanted to do an inclusion soccer this year. Jackson's doing that, which is awesome. And yeah, they're keeping it small. They're just trying to keep it like low sensory, high fun. And so that's been a big hit too. I actually have a waiting list for that. So that's our current stuff. The adults, we still have pickleball. There's almost 50 registered players for pickleball. Yeah, and we were doing that 3 times a week, and it was like packed. And now that the weather's a little bit better, we're scaling back to twice a week. But I'm sure come October it'll be back up to three times a week again.
Where are you doing the pickleball stuff?
In the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, Pat Holloway's been our attendant. She's very, very organized and consistent, and it works really nicely. So having her there is key.
Yeah.
Then we still have Laura Rooney, who's been on, I think, 2nd year now, doing yoga Pilates fusion classes on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. And then at 7 p.m., she does dance aerobics. And we're only charging $50 a year. It's a deal, go do your exercise. We're trying to space them on different nights. So there's always some sort of activity for the adults to do. And then just other programs in general. We started an indoor soccer this past year. Of course, the winter basketball, and then of course our fall soccer. There's the cheerleading that's relatively new. It's in its 2nd year. And we're still looking into the auxiliary weight room at Pioneer, just opened back up. It's amazing if you get a chance to see it. They are real weight machines in there, like serious weight machines. So we're looking into how we can work with the school and offer that to the community. There's a woman that we might be able to do some ballet classes. We're thinking about offering for the kids during February and April vacation week, like some sort of vacation program for kids for something to do during vacation. I still really want to get a fall volleyball together, so we'll see if we can, work all of these things out. So there's a lot going on. Because REC's mission statement is simple. We offer recreational activities for the residents of Northfield, and everything's on our website. It's northfieldrec.com, or you can email me at reccomm@northfieldma.gov, or those of you who don't do computers and want to call town hall, we're extension 126, and I get that voicemail right away and I call them right back. So, and I just have to give a shout out to our wonderful committee members, our chair, Josh Roman, our vice chair, Bob Emberly, Courtney Lawler, Chelsea DePault, and Laura Fries, who just left. And that's what we got going on.
It's a lot.
Program is growing. I can see it.
There's a lot happening.
That's just in a year. This is a lot more than last year. And it was basically. I know.
Last year I had 350th going at the same time, so there's.
We'll give you that. Yeah. But it was basically a moribund program. So, and we had COVID, so we never talked about recreation. So congrats to the whole. As I refer to it, the rock and rec. They're always rocking with something. So yeah.
Stay busy.
And I like the all age. I told Josh this too. I like the all ages approach.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty lucky in town. There's actually I always forget what they're called, but the Pioneer Valley Family and Community Services connection. It's tiny. I can't read it. That's Deb Wood, and she does stuff for like kids 5 and under, and they do stuff at the library. So that's sort of like somewhat covered by that. There's the senior center that's somewhat covered by,
Mhm.
you know, 50 and up, whatever, 60 and up. And the middle school and high school have a lot of programs for the kids through there. But, you know, so we sort of do the elementary school, adults, and, you know, sprinkle a few things sort of for everybody in between.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dickinson Library, they do stuff for, yeah. So there's
No,
a
I
lot
know,
of
it's
programs in
great.
town.
You're filling in all the gaps.
Right.
Right.
That's what we try to do.
So it feels like a more holistic community thing with all the different offerings, regardless of who offers them.
Yeah, we still would like to do something for teens a little bit more.
Yeah.
That is a thing that I feel like it's a bit challenging, but it's on our radar. It's been on our radar for a while. It's just been hard to sort of, you know, pinpoint something that we think that they will definitely enjoy and want to go to.
Well, you have so much incredible stuff going on, and a target for the future, not now, because you're the homeschool community is kind of a target-rich environment. We have a lot of homeschoolers in town, and something, you know, a multi-age, like the mountain bike. I gotta tell you, my kid was like, oh.
Yeah, I know. If we
He's
could
a little
offer
bit too old.
for even older kids or something like that,
Yeah.
potentially, because that would be a good one. Yeah. Yes, I had some.
So that wasn't intended as a criticism.
No, but I'm just thinking that I was at the grand opening for the auxiliary weight room this past weekend. The rec and the Bernardston rec worked together for a few programs for that. And there was a family that came through that were homeschooled but didn't really know much about what was offered. So I was sort of like, how do we, you know, get into that? So yeah, it's on the radar too.
But I know that all the wonderful things that you have, I know that they're open to everybody, and that'll be so much fun for the kids. The mountain biking especially seems so exciting, and
we tried to reach out to Thomas Aquinas also, because I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of kids on campus there too and stuff, and just let them know that we're here.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Stacey.
thank you very much
Awesome.
for listening.
See you around.
Yes, enjoy your last meeting. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Next on our schedule appointments, we have Amanda Lynch, our town clerk, upcoming elections and town meeting discussion.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so first, before I forget, I would like to ask the select board's permission to use code red to send out an announcement about town meeting and town election next week. Have it go out probably Friday or Saturday. I'll ask Skip, send him the email.
Your policy for
Right.
non-emergency is that they request it from the select board.
You mean this week?
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you guys are okay with it, I will email
Yep.
Skip tomorrow and ask him to send it out probably Friday, maybe Saturday.
And I'll make a motion to allow the use code red for the upcoming town meeting and election.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Okay, thanks.
Permission granted.
Okay, so obviously, you know, we have our town meeting on Monday at 7 o'clock at PVRS, and then the following day, we will be having our town election here at Town Hall from noon to 8 p.m. We tried to send out some more notice this year. I know the warrant articles were sent to everyone, and I made a little flyer, put it up a few places in town, along with the official warrant. I tried a few different lawn signs. The yellow is a little bit hard to read out front. So for next year, we'll have something just black and white, easy to read, maybe post it at some intersections. Just more info up there.
Great.
And you already have the electronic one going. So that's
Yeah, we've got the electronic one down there.
And I think do we have some like vote today kind of, I think we have some of those, don't we?
Yeah, so when we're having the election, I have a big vote here sign and all that. Yeah.
Well, looks like we're doing all we can to provide outreach for
Yeah,
town.
Amanda has worked, we've worked kind of together to talk about, you know, how to make sure we get things out. She's been working on the
Get out
signs.
the vote.
trial and error to see what she likes best, and has some ideas for next year. Tried some things that we didn't like, and I
Yeah.
think she's got some.
Yeah, my friend is letting me borrow her crafting machine so I can make custom signs. So I'm going to just order, town meeting May, and then leave the number blank and print numbers, so we'll be able to have a nice looking sign.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
Love and and that's not in the job description, actually, crafting the sign.
Yeah.
But we appreciate that.
It's other duties as a son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
No. You guys
Great.
have anything?
Thank you for sticking around after work hours, it looks like,
Yeah.
too, to
Yeah, no problem.
make these announcements and to show your face.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, yeah.
I know. Yeah, I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, thanks. I will see you all next week.
See you then, man.
Monday
Thank you.
night?
Mm-hmm.
Moving on in our meeting, citizens' concerns. Any citizens' concerns? Anybody who is a citizen, resident, concerned individuals to come before the board? Seeing none, we will move on. Review and approval of warrants. I'll hear a motion for the May 1st, 2024 payroll warrant of $74,058.67.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Somebody for the vendor?
I move that we approve the vendor warrant from May 1st, 2024 of $83,177.06.
Second.
We got a motion from B and a second from Heath. Is there any further discussion on that vendor warrant? Yeah, we didn't have anything for snowplows and anything like
Kind of
that.
fall in between the. Yeah,
We're now
no
officially in
school.
spring.
We're in
No
spring.
school. No school.
We're dumping salt on the road, right?
So it's a small one.
Outstanding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
With one abstain, Sandy from Sarah. Review and approval of minutes. These were previous executive session minutes, one for April 2nd, 2024 for litigation, and another one for April 2nd, 2024 for real estate. Minutes looked fine to me. No issues.
Are you talking about all of them or just the first
No,
one?
just those two for now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought those were fine.
I'll hear individual motions for each one of them.
I move that we approve the April 2nd, 2024 executive session for litigation.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay. Another abstain from Sarah, and then a motion for the next one.
Actually, you were there.
I wasn't at the original meeting.
Oh. Gotcha. I move that we approve the, oh, are we done?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
We're on to the
like
next one.
jumping. I move that we approve the April 2nd, 2024 executive session real estate minutes.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oops.
Unanimous passing. And the open session minutes for April 16th, 2024.
I had a correction that I emailed to Sandra. There was on the vote for the, I think it's Article 14. I abstained on that one.
Trust fund. Yes, you did. What?
No, I might have the number wrong.
I think you're, yeah, the number
One
is
was before.
wrong.
Hang on.
Let's see if we can find that
Hang
one.
on. I got it.
Is that the fire department truck? Is that the one you're
Yeah,
referring to?
that
Yeah, that's
says
Article 14.
That's
Yes,
right.
it
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Don't have it completely memorized, but that's pretty good. Okay. So that's the, so then I would, unless there's any other amendments, that was the only correction that I saw.
I had one. So when we were talking about the data presentation from the survey, I had mentioned and would like included
Oops.
that it was approximately 5% of the population. I think the reason to include that, I did mention it during the meeting, but the reason to include it is just that that makes it, it's not a statistically significant sample. And the other thing is in the discussion about food, I also specifically mentioned farms. So it was the preponderance of food and the mention of farms. I do see farm stands there, but I said specifically farms as well.
Farms and farm stands?
Yep. Because food, I said.
Yeah, no,
food and
I'm just
farms.
looking from a editorial standpoint. If we said farms and farm stands, that would be sufficient?
It was the discussion of the amount of food-related requests, which included restaurants, farm stands, grocery stores, and then also of the farms, which was, I think, separate in the way that I mentioned it. Food and farms.
So if she inserts farms into the list, that's the edit, right?
Right, so if I put restaurants, farms, and farm stands.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that'll be acceptable then. I'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes from April 16th, 2024 as amended.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Discussion? No?
Well, yeah, I had a question because it said time. I didn't remember not being here when the meeting started. Was I not here when the meeting started? Like at the very top of it is.
Time
We
join.
were like
Okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, yeah.
Yeah, you came in at 6:05. I will make note that that's, yeah. I
Okay.
forgot to update
Cool,
that.
thank
That's
you.
no big
Okay,
deal.
so that's in the amended too.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll take a vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous passing of the 16 of April minutes.
Okay.
Interim select board meetings, don't think we had anything. Meetings and events attended by select board members. Keith?
I didn't have any.
Sarah.
My calendar's not working.
Conscom, in which we found that the boat ramp is being refurbished and the drainage and the runoff fixed on that, and that will be complete before Memorial Day. They're gonna make an effort to make sure that it's before Memorial Day so that folks can use it. Open space, where we talked about attending the solar projects session because the open space had written a letter requested the moratorium. I met with a citizen regarding stolen election signs, and that was referred to the police. There was an economic development meeting, and we had several visitors, and Leslie, the grant coordinator, was there, and Jessica from FERCog came and discussed grants also. It was really cool. And we had a prospective member come and visit also. And then I did the Lyme disease presentation at the library. It had quite a good turnout, and that was sponsored by the Northfield Bird Club. There was a Conscom site visit at the gravel pit next to King Philip's Hill Path. I spoke to the fire chief with regard to insurance, and I saw an email come through, so I don't know if we're going to discuss that.
We won't be.
And then the auction at Northfield Auction. And then the last thing is I went to the Mass Selectboard Association of Rural and Western Mass. I went to that conference.
Oh, in Northampton?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. And there were some really important things going on, but I think is the town administrator going to update on that?
Not specifically on going to the conference. There was.
Okay. So
we
the,
didn't. I mean,
the
we
two
posted
things that I thought were,
we posted the agenda actually before the conference, so it would have been.
yeah. A couple of things that were before that were really interesting and important were they talked about there's all kinds of kind of legislative. Our legislators were there, and they were saying, hey, if you're interested in this, go here. If you're interested in that, and they gave some really specific information, which I'll put up in a summary. And then there was a discussion of the pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, and the idea that our forest land is a communal good,
Do you want
but
to?
it's only paid for by the town.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you want to put that on the next agenda to talk more about, the takeaways from that?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Because I think that there's some.
Yeah,
really
because
important-
otherwise we can't discuss it. We can just yeah. So I'm just thinking.
So I guess I went to that's the Mass Select Board Association of Rural and Western Mass Conference.
Cool.
Excellent.
Bernie?
No, nothing.
Nothing for me.
Nothing? Okay, I got a few things. FERCog Council. went on a field trip for the Historical Commission to a solar field. I did the pre-town or whatever, the Q&A session with the Finance Committee on Saturday. I met with Misha Storm, the library director, about her strategic plan and what her questions were for certain commissions and people in town. That was really helpful. And I went to the Economic Development Advisory Committee meeting. There's probably something else in there, but I don't see it. Okay.
Okay. Town administrators update.
A few things. The Whitney Estate, I just wanted to alert everybody that finally after some time we've received 3 checks. There was initial money that came several years ago and then some flurry of activity. Finally, a $50,000 check, which is the second disbursement, a $100,000 check, which is the third disbursement, and a $75,000 check, which is the fourth disbursement. So currently in the account with the new deposits, based on what hasn't been expended from the initial deposit, is $277,768.12. There is anticipated to be a 5th disbursement when the estate is actually closed, but they don't know what that will be yet. That will be the final disbursement at that time, so not sure exactly.
ETA on it?
I think that there's a big push to do it now because for a while this was held up,
Right.
and I think the court got very upset with the people handling the estate, and all of a sudden we saw boom, 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 and I think that we will, I think it'll be a lot quicker than it was in the past. So hopefully they're settling everything, and whatever the ending proceeds will be finalizing that, and that will be finally done.
Great.
Done.
So the next thing is, you all should have a copy of this in front of you. It has been on the website for a few weeks,
Yeah.
but this is the printed copy. We did send some to the library if people want to look at them. We have some here. So anybody who really feels they need the printed copy, we do have some additional copies. We will bring some to town meeting. We did print a little bit more than we normally print because we're hopeful that people will take them. There's actually a lot of information here.
Yeah.
Besides talking about every department and their mission and their goals for this year and next year, and their budget that will be presented at town meeting is behind all that. There's mission statements. There's all sorts of things for each department. We have them for our regional entities. Plus, we have the typical things that we have in our town report, which is elected officials. We have last year's warrants, and then we have a lot of stuff talking about. And there's the schools. We have a lot of stuff talking about the budget, trying to do a lot more explanation on revenues and expenditures and capital and OPEB and retirement assessments and what all that is. There's definitions of terms in the back, and so there's a lot in here. So anybody who's really interested in learning a little bit, we tried to keep it not too wonky, because those of us who do this all the time could go nuts, but tried to make it really practical because people really should have an opportunity to follow along and to understand. So
this is awesome.
I urge anybody
Very nice.
who hasn't seen it online.
It has all
We do have a few.
the budget stuff in
It
there.
does
I
have the
love it.
budget.
It has like what's gone on, the flow chart, their budget. Like
Well, it's
this
about
is
transparency.
this is fantastic.
It's got a townwide organizational chart. It's actually got a
It's about
community
outreach.
profile. It's got some breakdowns with pie charts about how the budget is actually split between what kind of money we spend the money on, so people can get a real good visual sense. I do want to emphasize to you that your organizational-wide strategic goals, which you guys did at your retreat, here they are.
Oh, look at that. What page is that?
That is page 17, and this is, do you remember that you discussed splitting these into categories? You wanted to do financial, emergency services, affordable place to live and learn, and then community and neighborhood. And there's your discussion of goals under those 4 categories, the hope being that you'd visit those categories each year and look at your goals. And so there is that, and then based on those goals, the select board also has a section with your more specific goals. That was from your retreat, that one there.
Yep.
To kind of really that I took from what you guys said, and then I broke those down based on the notes from your meeting on page 75, which is the select board's portion. It's called governance, which has your department description, organizational chart, your accomplishments, and then your goals for 24 and 25. And then hopefully next year we'll look at 24 and you guys will update 25 and we'll just keep moving them along.
Yeah.
This was a lot of work to set up, but next year it's in place. So the hope is
You just update it.
we update it. You
Yeah.
look at what happened for 24, you make comments. I really, really need to thank the departments.
Oh, yeah,
It was
they
a
did
little
good
bit of a
job.
lift this year because it is not a format they're used to. And so next year it should be a whole lot easier. I was really pleased with the departmental participation because we had a hard and fast deadline. And if you didn't participate, we had to go on without you, but I think we really did get all the departments. So I'm really pleased that everybody chose to participate and really put their effort in, because I think it makes it a much more valuable document when everybody's participated in it.
Well,
So,
I think that for departments and commissions that people aren't familiar with, like maybe the assessor or some of the financial positions, it's really helpful to see what their goals are. And the measurement of the goals and the timing.
when we tried to tie, the goals should somewhat tie to your budget. So we have this
Of
as a
course,
goal, and so
yeah.
that's why your budget looks like this. It can be a little confusing. The annual town report has always traditionally been a calendar year. So we kind of soft pedaled it into calendar year 23, yes, because that's what your financial reports from the accountant look like.
Right.
But it does have your 24 goals, which we are currently in.
Yeah, this helps.
And it has 25, which is next year's goal. So it kind of straddles three.
Which is always
different
confusing,
years.
so this
It
actually,
is.
I think this helps.
So we're hopeful. I would like it to say
Good.
next year, it'll probably say fiscal 26 budget and 2024 annual town report. So it's a little clear as to it'll be this year's stuff, but next year's budget.
Great.
So anyway, we do have some for people. Like I said, you can get it at the library to look at. And it's definitely online right on the front page. And I know it's a lot. I'm hoping next year it'll be a little shorter, but we really wanted to include a lot. There are a few things I want to include next year and spend a little more time with. If you look in here, there's a spotlight on the 2 enterprise funds to try and give people a sense of what those are, sewer and EMS. But like the Community Preservation Commission is not really heavily spotlighted. I'd like to do that next year to give a little sense of what that is. Look at what their historical, projects have been. But it was just, there was so much. We could have been 500 pages long, and I think it would have been a little crazy. So we'll have to shift it around every year to.
Oh, and you've
to
got
try.
the school stuff in the back, plus
The
the
school is
capital.
there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with a lot of charts on
School.
the school talking about population and school enrollment and such. So I hope everyone will check it out online. Like I said, we do have a few copies. The town clerk has some in her office. We have stacks of boxes in the office up here, and we'll bring some to town meeting. So there it is.
This-
And you had I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
You had, there was a
Consultant.
A consultant that did the writing, that did it, and you got
They
it
did
done.
the
How did it work?
formatting. We
Okay.
did all the writing. The writing is all in-house.
We meaning,
The town departments, myself, town committees, school department, whoever submitted, this is all written by the people
Responsible
for
their-
whatever portion
Yeah.
of it is. The consultant helps with the formatting. They helped get everything into the right charts and everything. So now that's all set as a format. So we will have that in place to go into next year. They assisted with putting together the organizational chart, but we supplied in all the information. We did all, we as the town departments, the town,
Yeah.
there's a little 350th, closeout in here. That was all supplied by, like I said, that's why I have to thank all the departments and all the staff and people who worked hard, because the narrative is coming from
Yeah.
the town.
and is there because we didn't as a board do any writing or anything like that, so
It was pulled from
from the previous meeting.
from the retreat, the planning meeting, from all those minutes and all those notes is generally how it's done. And hopefully the chair next year will have some more, input as to if they want to review it. But yes, and it was just, they were plucked to be goals and objectives based on the points that were made at that meeting. And it was made pretty clear at that meeting that you guys wanted to structure it into those specific categories. I have all those notes. So that's how it ended up like this. It looks really pretty because they did that. They're very good at that. but that was the documentation from that meeting primarily.
Okay. Great.
Those
So-
were the priorities we approved.
Yes, they were all spelled
Yeah.
out, and then you guys decided to organize them that way. When you realized you were sort of repeating categories, you decided to kind of put them in that order
Right.
for year to year, year on to year on, just to
So
look
they
at.
made more sense.
Well, so you could review them too. What did we do last year? What do we do next year? Kind of thing. So
Nice.
just wanted everybody to know it's out there.
Yeah, there's good pictures of, too, of like each of the departments. That's
People
cool.
submitted pictures for their departments. So some of it is general that we found, the consultant pulled, so next year we'll pull some more. But some people did submit.
Like the
um,
highway department.
There's some that were submitted by the departments, so we wanted to put those in. This whole book could have been the 350th, so sorry that it wasn't. But they have a great website, so if you want to see what they've done, please go to their website.
And the library helped with that too.
So
Posterity.
the next thing I wanted to mention was the business park feasibility study talk that's going to happen tomorrow in this room
shoot,
at 6
yeah.
o'clock. This is the consultant that we've hired to talk about, and I know it's called a business park, but they've got some really, we've given them some real direction, and they think they've got some creative ideas, and they want to get people's input. They want to get more ideas. They want to get residents to talk about what they want to see and get the input based on their initial data gathering that they've gone out into the community.
Are they going
to
to
do.
tape that?
We do not have BNC TV,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, all right.
They're not available. So they have other select board meetings on Wednesday nights, so.
Yeah.
Oh, plus the town meetings.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a busy season for that. So, but it will be in this room tomorrow night. I think actually we'll all be sitting that way and looking at the screen,
Yeah.
but we'll set that up tomorrow.
That's the other thing I forgot to mention, Sandra, is I watched the Bernardston town meeting last night on BNC TV.
Always interesting to see another town.
Oh my God, yeah, they do things a little differently.
So I'm hoping anybody who's got an interest in that, please, even if you just want to hear, but certainly feel free to come and contribute.
Okay.
Wanted to give an update on the sewer commissioners for the home rule petition. As of April 25th, the bill has received favorable passage out of the Joint Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government and is moving to the House Committee on Steering, Policy, and Scheduling. I can't say I know what the order is here or where it'll go next, but it has at least been favorably passed out of the first Joint Committee and is now going to Steering, Policy, and Scheduling. Our legislators are continuing to advocate for favorable passage on that, and they keep us informed on the movement of the bill.
Do you have the house number? I mean, the bill number?
Do not,
Okay.
but I can get it.
I'll look it up. Thanks.
And it was in a joint committee, so I'm not sure which number it has yet,
Okay.
or both. I'm not sure.
All right.
And a quick thing, just wanted to, I know it's not on there, but I'll just give you a highlight. The ARPA quarterly report went in today. That took me some time to figure that out. And we put in 4 of 5, because we'd already submitted one-stop grant expressions of interest today that were due today. So 5 have gone in. You really want to get 5 in if you can, because that allows you to apply for 3. So we got 5 in as of today. So that's
Excellent.
kudos to Leslie.
Good job.
And we'll talk about them some more when I can get them on the agenda.
Okay. First up on our order of business, we have a seasonal event application for the Northfield Golf Club. Would you like to come forward, Shelby? So this is a typical seasonal event permit application for the golf club at 31 Holton Street. From April to October, mostly Saturdays and Sundays. And this will be a renewal.
She went through the process last year for the first time,
Yeah.
which was mailing of butters and all that, but the renewal doesn't require that piece. It just requires that they come.
Coming before the select board.
Right,
Actual
come again and then.
occupancy of 150 guests.
There are changes on it, does the renewal, there's some very specific changes to section H.
Well, I mean, you can
So
just,
if we're renewing, are we renewing or is this a renewal?
This is a renewal.
it's a renewal.
Okay, so can the specific conditions that we approved last time be changed? Or, so for instance, last year it said no bass speakers are allowed, decibel levels are not to exceed 100 decibels. Oh, and you know what, may I say something else? I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that you guys did such a great job this last year. you really made a difference in the noise level from the year before, and the weekends. We understand that you're in the middle of, you're in a neighborhood, and the weekends are shared between the music and the not music, and you did this last year was really great. And that's one of the reasons I was saying I would love to keep the standards that produced such a good result last year. Specifically the bass, that last year you had said no bass speakers are allowed, and the bass, the lower frequency sounds actually travel like twice as far, and so that would be something that I would request be added back in.
Yeah, that actually is something that we do. I just must not have written it in the permit this year, but that is something that we asked our DJs not to include for our neighbors.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Because we know that I think that's the part that's most disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is something that we include. I just didn't write it down this
cool.
time, but and then we do the decibel levels. Like we have the monitor on site, so we can keep an eye on what the noise level is.
Last year you specified 100 decibels, and this year it wasn't specified, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think it's in the noise ordinance that it's
Yes,
the
I think
100.
it's
That's
in the
why.
bylaw.
Yeah, or yeah.
And then the last one is in this year's you said the soundboards are available for use, but last year you said that they were required to be used.
Yeah, we do have them. We usually put them out for every event. We put them behind the band or the DJ.
Okay. So they will
It's
they'll
all
be
yeah.
used for all the events?
Yeah, we plan on keeping all the same standards. We just
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I don't word it the same, but
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
we have the same
again,
intentions.
kudos. It was a huge difference.
There's the same level of accountability this year for them as we had for the previous years.
Yeah.
Last year.
We have
So-
full intention of keeping all that.
Which thing?
No road closure or traffic plan. We don't need that. First aid available for minor injuries. Basic recycling plan. All food and liquor licenses are currently held, so that's good. Live music or DJ, following the noise regulations. So, insurance paperwork is all in order, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just curious, your maximum last year was 200 for the number of people. Was that in the 10? It said it was like in the 10 was 200. This year you put 150. Did you have to knock it back down? Or?
That's our preference. Yeah, we
Your
like
preference.
to keep it. Yeah.
It gets pretty crowded if you
Yeah.
have 200 under there.
Yeah, I think the tent can handle 200, but yeah, 150 or
I'm just wondering. I just noticed
less
the
is our
difference.
preference.
Okay.
That's what we tend to try
Okay.
and host events with.
Oh, that was just a question. It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with approving the permit or that.
Yeah.
Just was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for the application. Somebody wants to do that.
I'll make a motion, and I really appreciate the difference this last year. Good job.
Thank you.
I made a motion to approve the special permit.
Seasonal permit.
Approve the seasonal permit for the
That's what it
Northfield
sounds.
Golf Club.
Yeah.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you,
All
Shelby.
set, Shelby. Thank you.
And thank you for your, we had Stacy in before, I don't know if you caught her.
Oh yeah, we caught it
But
downstairs.
yeah, thanks for the donation too to the, I don't know if it was the carnival run or,
The summer program, I think.
Yeah. you
Yeah.
guys are always involved in some way, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, especially like the stuff that involves the kids are special to us. So
Yeah,
So
especially with two little ones.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Shelby.
Okay. Just sign that.
John.
All right. I think it just needs the chair signature.
Yeah.
Next, resignation from our assistant tax collector. I have the letter up right here.
Yeah, she's part-time in 2 different towns.
Yeah.
And she's been offered a benefited position, so
Oh,
Can't really-
that's tough.
can't really blame her for that.
Letterhead is to Michelle Turner, our treasurer tax collector. Dear Michelle, please accept this letter of resignation as Assistant Tax Collector for the town of Northfield. My last day of employment will be the 17th of April, 2024. It has been a pleasure working with you for the past 7 months, and I appreciate the opportunity to develop my skills and want to thank you for all your guidance and insight. Signed, sincerely, Anne Petrain. Okay, well,
I move that, do we need to accept the resignation? Yeah, I move that we regretfully, sadly, accept the resignation of the Assistant Tax Collector, Anne Petrain.
is there any discussion on that motion?
Second.
Seconded, yep.
Just to let you know, I'm going to meet with the finance team, which is the treasurer collector, the accountant, the assessor, myself. And we're going to discuss, because the financial assistant's becoming our accountant, we do have a part-time finance position and we have the part-time assistant treasurer collector. We're not looking to put them together and make a full benefited position, but we're going to discuss the possibility if somebody wanted some more hours, would it make sense to make that one person? So under 20 hours a week. And we haven't had that meeting yet to talk about it. It's also good for cross-training, to have another person who can do entry. There's also ebbs and flows in the tax collection time of the year. So by combining that, you don't have somebody whose hours you don't need 10 hours a week of during when it's not tax time, but could still be doing payroll, for example. So it might make the position more attractive to someone. So we're scheduling to have that finance team meeting coming up, and we're gonna talk about that, see if it makes some sense. So it might be that we look at the job descriptions and end up coming back with something joint, or whether we keep them separate because there is something to appointing someone as an assistant tax collector. So I don't know how that's going to come out yet, but it is something we're discussing.
Franklin Regional Council of Government, Public Health Nursing Services, contract.
It's a Scribner's error. Wait, is it in there for you to sign?
I did not have a contract.
Oh, you didn't get the one back from the Board of Health? Oh, okay.
Oh, shoot.
There is a multi-page document from the Board of Health. They said they had signed
I
it.
had 3 documents, but none of them were.
Okay. It's
It was in the
yeah.
meeting folder.
Well,
Wasn't it? That's okay. Did you have no? So it's basically it's their standard contract for services, and it's really with the Board of Health. But they have a line for the select board to sign it. So I'm not sure why we didn't get it. They should have given it to us, and I thought they had, but maybe they didn't.
suppose we'll have to table it.
Yeah, I mean it's for June 30th, so we can put it
You
on
got
our next
time.
meeting.
We actually had a lengthy discussion about this last year when they were doing their due diligence and kind of going through the whole process with FERCog.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad this year it's all like
Yeah, and it's mostly
resolved and
nursing services is
correct.
particularly what we use from their public
correct.
Of their public health division.
Yeah.
The town of Northfield primarily uses the
Yeah, and the senior center really likes the nurses.
the nursing services.
Yeah.
So we'll bring it back.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm
We've
glad
got
it's
another
early,
meeting.
though.
We've got another meeting. We'll get it.
Tell the Board of Health thank you for being early.
Senior Center surplus equipment disposal.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you have a copy of that memo. I think went into your.
Yes, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to get rid of a few things. And they have. Let me just get past that.
With the justification that some of these things are too heavy.
Right. They have those,
difficulty.
that heavy ceramic dishware that everybody has in
Yeah.
like public spaces. Well, first of all, what they have is like 5 bowls and 50,000 coffee cup holders. Like it's not even practical, the set that they have. Plus they're very heavy. They found that they are buying paper products for certain events because it doesn't work well with the seniors. It doesn't work well for events that they have, especially if they want to have more things outside.
Yeah.
So they're looking at, more of that, not necessarily paper so much, but the stuff that's reusable but lighter. They have existing funds that they're going to replace this through. They actually heard from the Salvation Army down in Springfield in the meantime. She's been looking for a home for it, and if they box it up, they said they would come and get it.
Great.
So we do have
Even better.
a home to donate that to. They'll take
Purpose. All right.
take that.
Okay.
And they have 2 little upright freezers. You know, those little, but they're little. They're like, one of them is quite old. It's actually kind of scary looking. I mean, it's fine inside and all, but it's very old. And the other one is a bit newer, but it's hard for them. It's bending over. Things are piled in there. They're going to go with an upright freezer, smaller upright freezer that you'd open the door and things are in there. And again, they have funding for that.
Okay.
The old one will probably be taken out of service. It's
Too old.
it's too old, and it probably has the wrong kind of freon, so they will have to go to one of those waste days where you can take it in. The other smaller one, they're looking to possibly donate it to another service agency that serves seniors or low income.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
that's their hope.
I move that we approve the senior center request to dispose of the following items for surplus: white ceramic dishware and 2 small top open freezers.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Officially declared surplus. Great. Police hiring and highway hiring select board representatives to the screening committee.
Oh, just need people.
I'll do it.
So we have a police officer hiring and a highway hiring, and we need select board representation on the screening committees and hiring committees.
When's that happening?
Well, the police has closed, so it can happen.
Oh, they're ready to go?
They're ready to go.
Oh.
So,
I'll do that one. I haven't been on a hiring committee for police officers
Yeah.
that have been here. So.
I'll do it.
I'll do the highway. Oh, I'm sorry, Bernie.
I'll do the police one. I haven't done one before.
Keith
Yeah,
and Bernie.
yeah, they're really interesting.
Yeah.
Heath
Okay.
and Bernie for police.
Highway will be
Sarah.
Sarah
And me,
and me. They can
Perfect.
split it.
Alex, and Spirit.
Okay. We have
I'll
We had
channel
so many,
Alex.
we had so many.
I'll channel Alex. in the
highway is
meeting. How
out right
about
now, so
that?
that will be a little bit, but
Oh,
police
darn.
will
I
be
miss doing them.
trying to set them up with you
Yeah,
as soon
we
as
don't
possible.
get to do the police ones anymore, Alex.
Great. Oh, we did a lot of them.
You guys will have to channel us.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Does that need a motion?
No, I
No.
I don't think so. That's just basic
finding each
coordination.
other.
Letter of support for the highway request for a co-op student from the Franklin County Tech School.
This is just a request from our highway superintendent. He would like to send this letter in. It wouldn't be till fall. The student presumably would be a co-op student in the fall, and maybe if they like it, stay for summer or longer. So obviously it's somebody who has some kind of interest in the field, and other towns must be doing it because it was brought to
Is that a potential recruitment
letter to
channel?
be signed
Love
in
it.
there.
Yeah,
Well,
they
that's, I think,
also-
the hope. I'm not
Tommy-
sure, is it in
Tommy had
there?
mentioned to me at one
Alright,
point that
Uh-huh.
he doesn't get people applying
I'll get
for
it.
his summer position. So this would
Seasonal.
Yeah.
we could
Have it
slide
get in there.
somebody in.
Nice.
All right. I have to get, it's just it's a simple, I don't know why it isn't there. Didn't it get in the homework?
Yep.
Oh, it's in the homework. I got to get a copy to be signed. But yeah, it's just a simple letter. We just have to get in the queue. So the first thing we do is we just literally say, hey, we're interested. And so it's,
I'll motion that we approve the letter of support for the highway request for a co-op student from Franklin County Technical School. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
since it's going to be scanned in, I'm going to pass it to you like that.
Yeah.
Good.
It's scanned and emailed, so.
So then we have another one for Water Quality Management Planning Grant for the Key Up Brook Watershed.
The FERCog is working with Irving on a DEP 604B non-point source water quality management planning grant for this Key Up Brook watershed. The project is both basically focused in Irving. However, assessments will cover part of the Northfield portion of the watershed that's up in the Gulf Road area. So some upland river restoration projects could potentially be identified in Northfield after they do the assessment. So it's just a letter of support. The grant's due next Wednesday. So.
Great. Well, I'll hear a motion on that letter then.
I move that the select board approve and support the application by FERCog for a 604B water quality management planning grant to fund a project for the Keyup Brook watershed, combining elements of water quality assessment, climate resiliency, water quality planning, and development of implementation plans.
Second.
Right there.
Is there any discussion on that?
Nope.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Great. Next, we have a time off request for a staff member.
It's gotta go that way too.
For
Thank you.
personnel and
Thank you.
security reasons, we typically don't state the details of the time off request, but as department heads, we do review them. Anybody else wants to look at them, but it's pretty typical.
I already saw it. I move that we approve the time off request. As requested.
That's all right. It's fine if it is, because I'm going to scan it in.
There's a motion on the floor for the approval of the time off request.
Well, this one I have.
second.
Discussion?
Oh, no, I have it on the computer.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay. I'll take that so I can sign it.
Where's Microsoft?
Wow, you did it so early.
Yay.
I might have.
Don't jinx it.
Town meeting, public information sessions.
Yeah, so just like I sent you guys the email of the one that we did previously, that B was present at, and for the special town meeting in January. And the purpose of those are just to anybody who has an article have a chance to be in the room, and folks get to ask questions of them. The reason that I think this is important is that at the beginning of our town meetings, the moderator always says, "Hey guys, you can come down and speak, but you can't ask questions. You should have had your questions answered beforehand." And so this is an avenue for the specific departments to be able to have an opportunity to answer questions.
I do want to say he did that at the special because there was an information session before that.
Who's
You
he?
can absolutely ask questions at town meeting. That's an avenue to do that.
Okay.
Special, there was a presentation prior to the votes, and I think that's why he said that. But at town meeting, people should absolutely be free to ask questions. That's the
I
debate.
thought I do
said-
recall hearing Sarah say it once, but
I just want to,
I hear
people think they
questions-
can't get questions asked
Yeah,
at
I
town
hear
meeting, they
questions all
can't.
the time. But
Yeah.
Well, I believe what he said, and I'm not sure that I thought it was all of them, is he says, you can ask questions, but you won't necessarily get an answer, right? Nobody's required to answer your questions. I don't know that, this isn't a point of requiring folks to answer questions, but I sent, if you guys will look in your email, I meant to have it in my hand and I forgot it, that's why I ran home. The way that it was organized last time is just there's a 4-hour period, and the representatives are there for any period of that time that they wish to be, and people can just come and ask questions.
So so I went to the finance one. So I've been to the one that we did for the special. I just went to the finance one. My conclusion after being at both of them is no one person from the select board or the finance committee is really in a position to answer all of the questions that come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I like the idea. I think we need to get it into the schedule. I think it needs to be a joint meeting, maybe at night instead of on the weekends. Timing that can be discussed, but and the feedback that I got, I have an email, but I didn't email it out. So because I don't want to create discussion via email. But I did write down everybody's notes. I actually followed up with some of the people who went to the finance one and got their opinions. And really what they're interested in are the subject matter experts.
Yep.
And specifically, a couple of people echoed their comments was, I just want to go to a session where I can get the data on like the highway truck, let's say, from the highway guy, and I don't want to hear I don't want to hear any of the opinions or feelings, this is a quote, from the select board or the finance committee about the highway truck. I just want to hear what it costs and why, and anything else about the truck that would be relevant, and then move on to the next one. So that was so I took a bunch of notes like that, and I think that we should definitely take the idea and get it into the budget calendar for the year. So 2 weeks prior, maybe or 1 week prior, when the flyer goes out, it should have the info session when it goes out in the mailer. I'm thinking you get the mailer about the town meeting, and at the bottom or something it says what the date is for the info session, and it can be a combined joint meeting, but really it's the focus on the subject matter experts would be my recommendation.
Yeah, but I think that one of the things, we need to make sure, I know that you had a member of the finance committee and you were spearheading this last one that was...
No, I wasn't spearheading it. I was attending.
You were attending?
And he saved me a seat up at the front, which wasn't my intent. They had posted it, so they had 2 members from the finance committee. Okay. And I went with, whatever I know. But there were some questions where I'm looking at Dan, who's been doing it for... How long's Dan been doing it?
I don't know. Been on as long.
20 years or something? I don't know. And I've been doing it for 4 years, and there's still stuff that when it gets asked, you really need somebody else in the room. That's what I need other people in the room. So I like the whole idea. It just can't be just Dan or just you or just me. It has to be a group effort, and it has to be formal, because otherwise, where I was uncomfortable was I'm actually attending as a citizen, but I'm on the select board. So people, when I speak, even as a citizen, they're like, yeah, but we know you're on the select board too. So I think it's a little confusing.
Well, and also the organized ones tend to be, I think, overly controlled, and also they aren't long enough because nobody wants to stay and be for that long. And so the reason I set this one for 4 hours, and right now it's set for the 5th, which is the Sunday right before, is, some people said they want to come all the way the whole 4 hours. Some people the first 2, some people the second 2. So I haven't finished. I haven't heard back from 3 people. But there's a long, all of everybody else has, because they heard about the last one, and the last one was super well attended.
And you said Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
And you expect town employees to come to this?
They are invited to come if they want. And I spoke to I asked about that because Andrea sent me an email, or the first half of it, which mentioned about pay.
Yeah, who's going to pay for that?
Yeah, and they said, well, we don't get paid for the meetings and stuff like that. This isn't anything different. And
well, I actually would beg to differ though. Yeah. But most department heads, part of their job description has. Most of their job description has those expectations. You're going to write your budget. You're going to go to the finance committee. You're going to do those things. We just have to be careful when we add expectations onto their job. If I ask for it, or you ask for it, or the finance committee asks for it, it's very hard for them to say no, because you're asking them to do it as somebody. But I'm not sure it's really an expectation in their job description to come on a Sunday afternoon.
Just clarify that it's purely voluntary on their part.
But is it voluntary if somebody who's considered your boss asks you? Would you say no?
I think they'd feel pressured and obligated to do something.
Well,
this is very sketchy stuff.
I'm just saying that's the discussion. Well, I think that's the discussion.
You got to be very careful.
That B's talking about. Because we also have a union. We also have people with contracts. I just want to make sure that we don't exceed anybody's expectations. And when you do pay someone, you have minimum hours.
I think it's a fantastic idea. It's just how you make it happen so that there's no.
It has to happen as a We
Right.
have to authorize it.
Right.
And then if we want employees to be there as employers, we're actually, which is, I'm appreciative of Sarah bringing the whole idea and getting it going.
Yeah.
But it really can't be one individual asking,
We don't even have a comp time policy.
No, there's no comp time.
We don't even have comp
Right.
It's a very
So
dangerous
we
thing.
organize
just-
the hell out of things, and then people don't show up. You guys had 5 or 6 people show up.
That's government, Sarah. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm
That's
also
just
just
how it is.
concerned, like, who, if
People
people
need to be free to
but if
ask
they
questions
come
and get
during the
information.
4 hours and
It's
the,
super important that people.
but
have
what if they
access to
come when the
information.
person they want to
Yeah.
ask the question of isn't
No,
there, or are we expecting like someone to stay the whole 4 hours who's the person who would answer the questions?
No, most people aren't staying 4 hours.
So what happens to people who don't come? Are their
You
questions
published
not
the
asked?
thing that I just sent you. Last time I put it out on the, let me answer the question.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
time I put it out and posted it places, and I also posted it on Nextdoor, and it has the time span when people are going to be there for that exact reason.
Who determined who was invited?
It was any person who had an item on the thingamabobby. All
So,
the articles.
so some of those articles were put out by either the select board or myself.
I didn't
Were you-
authorize that.
Well, no, it's not an authorization. I'm just,
No, well,
I'm
I didn't
concerned
put the
that,
omnibus because they already had it. It's
No.
fire and EMS and highway and, all the people that are
and
asking
the
for
grant
money.
match and the energy committee and the CPC, are they all,
That
they've
was,
all been
I was gonna ask
contacted?
a finance person to come to that. But that's why it's on the agenda. so
No, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
because I would, would wonder if people go to hear someone speak but have a question and the
I
other
wanna
person
make
didn't
su-
come, and I want to make sure that that doesn't look bad on it, somebody who's trying to get an article through because they didn't go.
Right.
And they weren't there to discuss their article when people came to ask questions. I just want to, it needs to kind of be a fair play kind of thing.
B.
we all want the same thing. It's a question of making sure that it has the imprint of the public bodies that are responsible for the info session, right? So if you do it, just as I was saying, it's not because we don't like what you're doing, it just has to go through the actual select board. I'm not talking about the format. I agree with the format. I don't necessarily agree with the 4 hours, because that's a long time, especially the Sunday before the Monday meeting. That's why
But
I'm,
nobody has to come that long. It's meant to be a window so that folks can come when they need to come.
yeah, but if both committees are involved, and it's actually the finance committee's responsibility to the legislative body, we're the executive body. So it has to have some official stamp on it. And if you want it to go in a particular way, then it's agreed on by the board, and we're all supportive of what you've brought forward. It's just, it has to be something that then we say, okay, if this is the format and we're gonna have all the employees come, then the select board actually has to authorize the town administrator to let the employees know, we would like and expect you to be there. And if you go, you're going to get paid overtime or whatever the salary issue is. But we do have to be careful as employers, as constrictive as that might seem, we do have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
We're actually asking people to do more hours than, including these bodies too, right? It's hard to say no. It's hard for me personally to say no, but I'll tell you, on Sunday, 4 hours on Sunday and then 4 hours on Monday, plus a bunch of other meetings next week, that's a lot. So I want, as a group, I just want to be able to weigh in on the timing, the communication, and who's doing what. That's all. I agree with the
People
idea.
can call up the departments and they can call and ask questions, and
Yep.
so they don't need to be scheduled and ordered for that. But it's a waste of, it's much better to just get everybody in the same room.
Yeah,
if they have
I
a chance to do
agree.
that. Okay, so if you don't want it done, so how are you gonna do it for this meeting then? How are you gonna do it for this town meeting, if you say that you want to do it?
I went to the finance committee one, and I'm giving my feedback from the finance committee one, because I'm the only other one who's gone to them. I'm giving my feedback from your special town meeting.
No.
And
Hold
yeah,
on a sec.
Not special town, I didn't have a special town meeting.
the info session.
Mhm.
I went to that one, and I went to the finance committee one,
Mhm.
and I'm giving my feedback on both of those. That's it. And I'm saying generally, let's do it, but to wait until the Sunday before, based on when you schedule it, and you inviting all the people, one, that's putting all the work on you. This is a shared responsibility. I'm not arguing with the format. You just have to bring it as an agenda item and actually walk us through it, and then everybody signs up or doesn't sign up or says whatever their opinions are. That's the point of working with a public body.
Okay.
You might not, I mean, I don't always like what everybody else has to, you know, what their opinion is, but
It's not about opinion, it's about
No.
letting people come and ask questions. So we've
Right.
got the auditorium reserved from 10 to 2 on Sunday the 5th. Does anybody else want, I think that Bernie already, because I contacted Karen because they've got the sewer thing. Bernie they were gonna be there from 12 to 2. Does anybody else want to join?
I don't want to have any part of that.
I can't do more. I cannot do more. It was never discussed before. You've already set it up, and now it's hard to say no. That's my point. That's how I would feel as an employee. That's how I feel as a select board member. Now it's hard to say no. If we had talked about when it was going to be scheduled to begin with, and the finance committee should have done it when they were here with us as a joint committee as well. But lessons learned. Let's move forward. But I can't do Sunday because of my animal responsibilities. I can't do things in the morning. And I can't do 4 hours on a Sunday the day before I'm going to do 4 hours on a Monday. It screws up I'm just saying as an individual, it's hard to do that amount of time in 1 week when there are other meetings, including hearings and stuff that everybody will probably be going to. Anyway, I like the idea. I just
have to voice my concern about the process and the fact that one person is doing the inviting of who that one person wants to attend. And I have a real concern about other departments and other people who have things on the warrant who it may reflect badly on, or they may not be there to answer questions. And I just, or a town department who has a warrant article for a piece of equipment and they can't attend because they're
on vacation,
perhaps out of town. And, you know, that leads to some imbalance on what's discussed and who's discussing it and who's answering the questions. And the people who are answering the questions are the people who have the knowledge, and the people who have the knowledge are not there. The people who were involved people who were involved in drafting a budget or drafting a capital request are the people who should be able to answer that, or somebody they've conveyed that knowledge to, and that may be the finance committee whose job it is actually to do the budget, or not. But that's just my concern and reservation.
Okay.
Who's involved so far? Maybe you could just spell out what this actually looks like so far. And also, when the email stuff needs to go into the folder before the meeting too, because this is copying all of us on email is problematic.
But it was on the agenda, and I did it after the meeting started, so it's
okay.
I put it on the agenda.
Right.
No,
because
I know,
I thought
but
it needed to be brought to the board.
well, yeah, the employee stuff.
So is this already out there to the public?
Did you already post?
It's not to the public, it's I'm just creating the thing that I sent you that has the people in it. So police, I can't put my spreadsheet right now. The police department, the fire department have not contacted EMS, but they will be contacted. The highway department, everybody except for I haven't spoken yet to the moderator, and he doesn't have anything, but he was there at the last one in case people have questions about the thing. And EMS, and then the community they have 4 articles, the community.
CPC.
Yeah, I haven't contacted them yet. So have Laura Durbin is the person that I was going to contact. But in every case, it's the head of.
So you're just
or else
discussing
they're
the articles or the department budget of the person who comes? Because there's a lot of other departments that won't be represented, who have a budget.
Yeah, no, it was just people who had items on there, and then somebody from finance for the omnibus.
Is the person from finance authorized by the finance committee to discuss the omnibus on behalf of the entire finance committee?
Well, I don't have anybody from finance yet. That's the third.
Because they're not going to meet in time to give that authorization either.
I see.
I think it's a good idea. I just don't think it's set up enough in advance. I definitely think there should have been a conversation about this weeks ago, and then we like this conversation right now weeks ago, and then we figure out how it's going to happen. But also, the obligations on the weekend are a real tough thing. I know that there's people within the town, employees within the town, who have expressed the time commitments and how it's taking time away from their families and everything. And if it comes to the weekend, I mean, it would have to be extremely, extremely important, or like a disaster for me to participate. Family time is on the weekend, so I mean, I feel bad that I wouldn't be able to be there, and that's just me. I have nothing specific that I want to have passed and talk to the public, but not being there feels like I'm ducking out an obligation. So
Yeah, it's I don't know how to, it's like feeling guilty or something, and it's like I don't want to feel guilty about like it's the weekend and I did all this other stuff the week before and then the week after. I just think the Sunday right before town meeting, because town meetings I looked at Bernardston's last night, it was 7 to like 10. So it's just to be there on Sunday and then have to go on Monday night. It just really sets up the rest of the week for.
I think it's a good template for the future. Is just I think
I do too. I like it. I just want to be clear on that. I like it. It just.
Okay, so to clarify, I had mentioned it before and said that when I did the special town meeting, said that I would like to do it going forward, and so that was my intent, and I don't, it's not about opinion for me. I was just making sure that people were able to speak to the items that they were bringing up.
Okay.
On the article.
I just want to make sure that you feel maybe we should have had, as Heath pointed out, we should have had this discussion
More
before.
specific discussion.
Correct.
Well,
Because
last time, because Heath and Alex one said that they didn't do things on the weekend, and you had participated, and I spoke to Bernie. So
yeah, I know you're doing all the right things as a person. It's as a select board member. It actually, as annoying as it is, you have to get in the habit of it has to go through the agenda, right? And by reaching out to an individual on each individual committee, we're not actually authorized to do that. Like if I'm on the historical commission, I've asked my historical commission to authorize me to speak at a hearing, right? And taken a vote on it. It's in the minutes. Those are formalities that are easily accomplished if we have enough time. I would just say in the future, it needs to be at least a week in advance, somewhere in that, where people then can follow up with questions. But because the Q&A format is excellent, good idea. Don't want to stomp on the idea. It just has to go through the channels, and the finance committee has to assign somebody, and each other committee should be doing it as well. But do you already have this? Is this already posted elsewhere, like on social media or anything?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we should just hold off for now.
I think we should put it back on the agenda and get it into the calendar for the year. When we produce a finance/budget calendar for the next fiscal year, and it should be in there. We should take the idea as a group and get it into the calendar, and then the communication of it all of the work that you're doing could be on top of, it already goes out in the formal flyer that we're doing.
And we should set it spinning and then take our hands off and not be in control,
Yeah.
so controlly of it.
Just
Let people
like
be
the
there to
two
answer
people who
ask
told me, I don't want to hear from
Yes.
the select board or the finance committee unless there's, the phrase that kept getting used over and over was subject matter expert on each of the articles. They loved the Q&A. They loved going through it step by step and asking questions. But if the right person isn't there, then there's some floundering about that feels very uncomfortable and doesn't seem very professional. And it's kind of not guessing, but I think it's this, but you know how when we were talking about something with the assessors at the special town one, I think it's this, but you know, the assessor wasn't there, so we couldn't say it definitively.
A little late, but actually, if you could put something out and have time frames when each person would speak,
Yeah,
so you
just
you
like
know,
she's doing.
yeah, that would, because we can't make it in the early.
Of course not, yeah. Nobody.
But I wasn't going to be doing anything. I was just going to be there, arm candy,
Just then in that particular case, then you don't want a third person to show up because then you've got a quorum.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, I'm
So
not
you have to be
speaking.
careful
Well,
about
if you're not
We don't
speaking,
talk about anything, it's not.
That would be deliberation.
But we
That to
all
me
agree.
would qualify as a problematic meeting
Town
because there's
subject,
going to be
town
a
business.
lot, well, there'd be a lot of deliberation going on at that meeting.
Well,
Okay.
B and Bernie and I were going to the sewer meetings. We were all through the sewer meetings.
Sure.
And we didn't have to call a special meeting.
No, but
No.
were you actually, was there talk going on, a matter that
Yeah,
was
we
before
all
the
asked
select, wait a minute,
questions.
that was a matter before the select board that you have participated on, voted on, and presented on and discussed? That
it was
would
afterwards
be,
we
this
did
is the
vote on
budget.
it.
I'd just be very
We did
careful.
talk
To me,
about
that
it.
would be a
And
very,
you were there too.
yeah, I'm not on the board, so I don't count.
I understand, but you.
Right, but if somebody makes a
Yeah.
presentation and 3 members of the 4 members of the select board are there, that's fine. But something this open and discussionable, I would be a little bit more concerned that you would have to post it. That's
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Propose. Oh no, there's other stuff.
Great. Topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48
all. I have
hours
one.
in advance of the
Oh,
meeting. Oh, we
And the
have
reason
one.
I have one is
Oh,
because last Friday, Representative McGovern's office released their guidance and deadline for the filing of the community project fundings earmarks.
Yes.
We did the ones for the Senate, but they said last Friday, and it's due this Friday.
Yes.
So we'd already posted the budget, so
I saw that.
so I'm asking you to sign, it's the same letter you
Yeah.
signed, but we have to put it on the House side.
Yeah,
So she's already got all the information from the Senate, but I need to ask you guys to sign this because I don't have another opportunity.
is this the Shell Bridge?
It's the Shell Bridge
Oh.
earmark that we're requesting from that we requested from Markey and Warren. You guys signed
Is
that.
she going to need to redo all the letters that we
No,
did
we've
before?
already talked about all that. We're already working.
Okay.
So she's
Okay.
she's all set for some of them. I think Comerford and Whips will do their joint letter and redesign it. And so we're working, but I need the select board's
Gotcha.
signature for the House request.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, if you
It's
can
same
due
motion for
Friday.
that.
It's the
Same-
same letter,
Addressed to
representative, so that
Okay.
what they
I-
called congressionally
Yeah.
directed spending is now called community project funding. They're earmarks. They
Yep.
just have different protocols, different things from House
Okay.
and Senate.
I move that the select board approve and sign the letter of support for the congressional earmark process with, and sign and send the letter to Representative McGovern.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
nay.
4 ayes and 1 nay. Bernie saying nay. Say anything?
Geez, they only give you a week?
They give us a week.
Holy shoot. That's tough.
Okay, no committee or board appointments listed. Proposed agenda items.
What about the economic development for the committee, where we had a letter of interest and sent, and she came and visited, and we sent a recommendation?
It wasn't submitted before the agenda. We didn't get her letter until yesterday.
I didn't get anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we put it on the next one?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
My question on that,
Yeah.
just so that we do things right,
Yeah.
did you ask for citizens' interest on that? You know, it might be a good idea in the future that you get in, you know, so you're not just picking somebody, so if
Somebody who came and visited and asked
Okay.
about it, so it was citizens' interest, like direct citizens' interest, and she's got
And
a
she
lot
submitted
of.
one.
what's that, she submitted one, but
Yeah.
did the community itself
Doesn't know there's
I
an
doesn't
opening?
know there's an open
Oh.
I think you can release, there's no number on that committee that when you set them
Oh,
up.
okay,
So
so,
I think when you do this one, that you should make an announcement that if there's other people interested, they should submit their.
okay,
Okay.
that's what I was saying.
You
I
don't,
just
you
wanted to make
never
sure
set a
Yeah, no,
number.
that's
we
good.
included
Yeah.
everybody that was, if there was somebody else out there saying, gee, I wish I knew there was an opening.
Yeah.
But when we bring it up, we'll mention that. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and you're going to do an update anyway, and then we have to redo all the committee assignments, so.
We were gonna do that in June. She wanted to get a little bit past town meeting. We were
Town
gonna,
meeting,
Yeah, yeah.
so like the
Bernie,
first
any-
meeting in June, I think, was the aim.
Anytime that you talk, my ears just perk up.
Me
like,
too.
Bernie is spoken.
And that's what I have on your list here. The first meeting in June is 6/11, so I put a question mark there if that seemed like a good time for you to do the
I
update.
can try. I mean,
Well, you
I'll
can,
put it
it's
on
just
the
a question mark, so
Yeah.
it can be changed.
Okay. Were we on the agenda items?
Yes.
I wanted to do
Proposed?
the conference summary for the.
Yes.
Yeah, I made note of
Talked
that.
about that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. If that's it, we'll move on to announcements. Solar bylaws notification of public hearing. When is that exactly? I don't have the tablet in front of me.
That would be tomorrow.
May 2nd at 69 Main
A
Street here
Thursday.
at the town hall. May
Thursday.
2nd.
It's right
Yep.
here.
I have had people have been asking me about this, so why are we having a hearing on the bylaws before that's the thing, we're having a hearing on the two things we're voting on. Why are we having a hearing before we do the town vote? The citizens are voting on those.
You have to have a town meeting to change a bylaw prior to the town meeting vote. If they don't have a meeting like this prior to the town meeting vote.
Oh, you have to have a hearing before the vote.
Correct. If you don't
Okay,
have a
I think you
hearing by the
misspoke.
planning board, your town meeting vote, gotta do it all again.
Okay.
So this is the hearing prior to the town meeting vote. That's the bylaw process under Mass General Law.
And what time is it at?
4 p.m. May 2nd, so that will be Thursday.
It will be hybrid, because we had the request that some people wanted it to be in person, so I believe she's doing it hybrid. Has that been posted on the website with a link?
Yes.
Yeah, so it is hybrid.
Okay.
And this is to discuss the 2 warrant articles that are on the town meeting warrant. This is not about the proposed solar array. That has its own hearing coming up.
May 23rd.
Right, that's a separate thing. This is the legally required hearing for the 2 articles. And by law, the planning board has to hold a public hearing, take public input, and then it will report out technically at town meeting to say how they voted. 2 things, nothing can really change because we've posted them on the town meeting warrant, and certainly can't change a citizen's petition.
Yeah.
So just so people
But
understand.
they can be changed in real time. People
They
can-
could be
the
amended
town
on
can
town
make
meeting floor,
Right.
but so
We
they should come
can't.
and discuss.
We can't.
Residents can
Right.
make
But
proposed
the
changes on
select
town
board
meeting floor.
cannot.
Right.
Correct,
Yeah.
so the planning board won't vote any changes at that meeting, because they really can't. I mean, they could, but they can't. But town meeting floor, yes, people could vote to make amendments on town meeting floor.
Yep.
Got it.
All right.
So all I'm gonna ask them to do is to vote it, planning board, support or not support. Doesn't make any difference, town meeting will decide to do what they wanna do, but that's the report that planning board will give out, is whether they support or don't support,
Gotcha.
ultimately.
Okay.
Okay, we're at the end here. I just had a kind of a statement, kind of a last word.
Last hurrah.
As your chair, I just wrote a few points I wanted to bring up. So my first town meeting I attended in 2017, I think it was 2016. I attended with the McGowans, John and Sue, And I remember seeing somebody on stage and being like, oh wow, I want to be on that stage. How do you do that? And they both laughed at me and they said, Alex, you have to be here 20 years and all this other stuff. You'll never make it. And I was like, oh wow, my best friend's saying, oh. So then the election was the next day and I received 2 write-in votes for sewer commissioner. So, and then I got on the sewer commission for a year. And I developed, oh, hi. Wow, I wasn't expecting this.
Oh. Finish your speech.
Yeah, so I designed a campaign plan in college to do a political participation stuff, and I created a campaign, and I wanted to do something different for Northfield, and I feel like I did okay at that. It wasn't always easy. It was a challenge at times, being able to not always get what you want to get done. Being, as somebody recently said, be less of a talker and more of a listener, which is something that I definitely wanted to get better at doing. And throughout my time on the board, I got educated. I went to school. I based all of my 20s, most of my 20s, around this board. And Haley was with me from the beginning as a person who helped me campaign. We did lawn signs together, and wow, I didn't think it was going to be this hard.
Yeah, well, this is huge.
I would do it all again, man. I would do it all again. It was great. It was definitely a challenge a lot of times, and I want to thank everybody for your support. The McGowans for encouraging me to run to this board. I've learned so much from all of you, even from someone like Sarah, who is you have so much passion and energy, and reminds me when I first ran. And I smile so much every time you have something to say, because I was like, wow, she's going somewhere, and you did this. You beat an incumbent, and you're here, and you earned your spot. You deserve to be here. Heath, you from the moments I met you at MIMS, you were just this guy who was like, go get him, do your thing, live this life. So that's what I did. B, you helped me in the beginning to help me write and create something so that I could run on for my campaign. And it was just amazing. And Bernie, you've been here. You've been by my side too for a couple of years now. And like I just said, anytime that I have something to say, or that you have something to say, I'm like, wow, this is important, and that's the part that you've brought to this board, and that's something that I've deeply appreciated in serving with you as well. And to, in this position, you create friends, you create enemies. And unfortunately, I've lost some friends as a result of decisions that I've had to make, or you just get people who aren't really happy with what you're doing, and they just don't want you in the position. So, but that's just part of it. That's what we do. This is public service. And like I said, I would do it all again. I participated in this position. I got to meet, give a speech to the governor for the Mass Works grant. That was amazing. I had to constantly look at my phone over 6 years wondering, is something happening in town? Is something going on? What's the next challenge? What's the next issue? And anybody who'd never liked what I did or really liked what I did, I'd still come up to you any day. Nancy, thank you.
Thank you.
And, I think that's it. Yeah. So thank you for everything, people. So it was a good run. It was a good run. It was definitely a good run. So.
Are you sure you don't want us to write you back in?
No. No, I'm good for now.
I really have appreciated working with you. Somebody's coming.
Chords, right?
Here he comes. Oh,
He's got turned over in that heinous blue chair.
I love this chair. This chair's coming with me. Thank you, buddy.
Oh,
So
nice.
I think that's it, folks. So.
Oh.
All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn Alex's final meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, folks.
No.